let's be honest, you would have never expected Lauma to be useful for Kinich. However, you're wrong, especially if you have C1 Lauma, as that covers the only weakness towards this team, which is just, the damage that you do to yourself with Burgeon. If you want to call it that. I'm gonna try calling things by apparently their actual name. You would not have guessed, the way that it's spelt to actually be, the way that you pronounce it, but whatever. Let's go ahead. We already see 28,000 damage from Mavwika, which, I mean, that's insane, because if you know, Mavwika is a character who, she doesn't have, like, EM, or at least my Mavwika doesn't have EM stacked up like that. So, yeah, not too bad, right? No, definitely not too bad. But, we don't actually heal ourselves. So you can see the massive amount of damage that Mavwika has sustained just by using her own Q skill. So as you can see here, yeah, Mavwika's at 2,500 health because we used her Q. They all explode right next to her. She's going to get damaged. So particularly if you're using Lauma with, C1. Now, there is, cursed methodology of going ahead and doing this.
I think we all know where this is going, so let's just skip to the end.
There is one other possibility you can use for, instead of Mavwika, we can go ahead and we can look at Toma. I now have Toma built with double elemental mastery stats, so he's got 100 or 612, EM and 177 energy recharge, which is desperately needed for Toma because, well, you want to pop his Q to get his stuff. So, gonna go ahead quickly, and we'll see how good this can be. Fiorina, it's time. Let's grab you up. Let's give this guy going, and there we go. Doesn't really matter which phase we use it. We're really here. We want to see the damage that we can do. And, well, with that, 35,000 is what we saw, right? So, 35,000 from what I, think we saw. And, yeah, we saw a lot less damage than previous. So, yeah, not too great. Because Toma isn't doing any sort of, like, massive off-field damage, isn't buffing Kinich, right? There is one other team that I haven't mentioned at all, right? So let's go ahead and get this going. So we were trying to take advantage of Lauma's normal abilities. However, what if we just went ahead and took advantage of her E-skill, particle gen, and then also just the overall res shred that she provides? I mean, that's not gonna be bad, right? I mean, Kinich normally doesn't have access to res shred at all. So it would make sense that, in a team where, I would basically be using Fiorina or Emilie here, there's a chance. I mean, I see some of the highest numbers I've seen of Kinich ever, right? The only issue with it is the fact that, my highest numbers ever are with an Eon-san here instead, which could easily surpass 25 or 20% res shred, right? So, I don't necessarily think we have to use her Q on this, but we are, just because I want to. Yeah, there's not really much else, rhyme or reason to why I would do that. Alright, let's see. What kind of damage can I get Kinich to do? 330,000. I mean, again, this is what res shred looks like. I mean, it is very much so a staple. I mean, that's pretty good if you ask me. And again, I don't think we have to use her E skill, or we don't have to use her Q skill. So we could easily, just go ahead and use this team as a base team for Kinich. Now, I'm going to try a little bit more to make sure that we get everything going. I mean, we did pretty well there. Just going to go ahead and do one more rotation, and we're going to see how good it is. Lauma's ability to res shred Dendro is probably, by far her best ability. Even comparatively towards her Bloom buffing, right? It's just not even... Alright, so we saw some decent damage, not top tier damage, which Kinich has never really been top tier, right? However, we did see some pretty decent damage, and the durations that we have here, I think it's 18 seconds is the duration entirely, right? So it would just be 18 seconds, yeah, cooldown 18 seconds, yeah. Everything kind of seems to be 18 seconds, so whatever he did in an 18-second rotation, who knows, it could be pretty good, but, Lauma, it is very important to note, she's giving this res shred, and I mean, I do have 5% left on the table. Not necessarily going to make the hugest difference, right? I will be eventually crowning this, especially for when Nefer comes out and, you know, outclasses Kinich as a Dendro DPS. That's how the game progresses, but other than that, yeah, I think that this is actually a decent combo because beyond, you know, Lauma being a Dendro character, she is providing Kinich with proper buffs depending on the team that you're using, right? All it takes is just use your E skill and he gets 20% res shred, right? You know, it's no longer locked to some artifact set, which we did use, but we didn't need to, right? We didn't need to use this artifact set to get the res shred, which is phenomenally good, right? I don't necessarily know. I mean, I guess you could use tenacity on her or something. Most likely you still want to use this artifact set for Kinich. So yeah, you know, overall pretty good. You could even put this artifact set on Mavuika if you're that, you know, impaired. But, you know, it's not bad. And overall, I would give this like a B rating overall. Because Lauma, the thing is, yeah, you're going to use her with Kinich, but she has a lot more potential on other teams, right? So I can't necessarily give this like an amazing rating, but like a B, right? It's good, right? It's not amazing, right? It's not like exceptionally insane. Because again, you could put like Eon-san here, and, you know, you still would be able to put Lauma on a different team. But if you're someone who loves Kinich, you know, you don't have Eon-san or you don't want to use Eon-san for whatever reason, Lauma seems a very good option for Kinich. Maybe you're looking for a reason to use Lauma before, you know, Nefer comes out or something, right? You just go ahead, use her with Kinich, and it seems very, very, you know, strong. I guess I could take it in Stygian, but I don't think that's necessary, so I'm not going to. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.